let's review. I'm going to take quinacridone gold and place it on the left-hand side of my paper. And here it will basically be full strength. And as I move along, I'm going to continue to increase the water to the consistency so the color becomes almost transparent. You can also try the opposite, where you start mostly with water and then continue to add color to increase the color consistency. You can see that this is a very simple exercise, but I suggest that you try this because it helps you to internalize the process. Let's look at a simplified landscape and how using these techniques help to create distance. By using the lighter color in the background and the darker one in the foreground helps to give it depth and dimension. If you decide to try this technique, you don't necessarily only have to work with table salt. I'm going to show you a couple of different kinds. First is raw sea salt. You can see how the texture is different than your average everyday table salt. And in comparison, rock salt. You can see how it's larger and it almost looks like little pebbles. Next is your average everyday table salt, and how this has the appearance of fine sand. Starting with my first demonstration, I'm going to take my piece of paper, wet the surface, then add my color. Then I'll lift the paper so the colors can blend. Once I'm satisfied with the blending, I can then start to add my salt. Look at what's happening here. The color is being repelled by the salt, while some is going to be absorbed. To make it more interesting, I'm going to add some raw sea salt. The change is gradual, and you're not likely to see the effect happen. And if I want to, I can even splatter more color on top of it to see what's going to happen. You can see how I'm doing the wet into wet all around that area, allowing the browns and the greens and the blues to mix into each other because it gives that watercolor look. When I applied my brush strokes, you can see that I left some white areas in the foreground. I like these random little windows. Then to help really define those whites, I'm going to start adding some darker colors. This will also help to give the illusion of trees. Notice how I'm keeping the hard line of the house dry, because I want to have that striking appearance of the white. But to help it not look too boxy, I'm going to add a shadow line just under the roof. By adding the shadow and having the background still damp at this time, it allows some of the greens to run into the shadow, which helps give it a softer appearance. I've decided that the way the sun's going to be hitting this house is that I'll have a minimal shadow on the front and more of a shadow on the side. By using very little color and more water, I'm going to fill in the side area. And I'm not concerned about any of the background color running into it. But I still want to keep a little definition there.